280-800. That's CAFE 280-800.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Amp2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on amp2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hi, my name is Steve Sperber. Glad to be with you today on What's Your Biz? My biz, I do two things. One for profit, one I volunteer. So today or tonight, I'm going to talk about America Meditates. And it's a huge event that's going to be taking place nationally from Denver, Colorado on July 24th between 8:30 and 10 p.m. And we're going to have a local event right here at Nova Southeastern University on the East Campus, which is 3100 Southwest 9th Avenue in Fort Lauderdale. So what I'd like to do is a little bit of an introduction of who I am and a little bit about me, where I come from. Born in the center of the universe called Brooklyn, New York. Grew up on Long Island and went to Pace University, which is right over the Brooklyn Bridge. And after graduating, I worked in marketing, TV, radio, so this is not new to me. I worked in the infomercial industry, and I also had always a wonderful curiosity about nutrition, sports, meditation, yoga. And that's how I got into teaching yoga and then teaching meditation. So in America Meditates, you know, in today's society, the two things that run across everybody's life is stress, tension. And so meditation is a proven method whereby we go from sound to silence, from activity to stillness. And in this meditation that's taking place Wednesday, it'll be a guided meditation. So it'll be even easier. And it'll be guided by a world-famous spiritual leader, humanitarian, and ambassador of peace. His name is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And you could look up theartofliving.org. And during this broadcast, you could also go to the website www.americameditates.org to find more about this event. And we all thought it would be a great idea in today's stressful society to bring America together in a different way, to unite America, instead of dividing America through silence. And the silence of meditation is very powerful. There's been numerous scientific research that's been done, and hopefully we'll have some people calling in to talk a little bit more about that. But to give you a brief overview, not only are you taking care of your own inner health by quieting, cooling down the mind, there's actually been brainwave studies, heart rate studies, so it improves cardiovascular health, it improves mental health, it improves our overall physical stamina as well. So typically people meditate twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, and it's like recharging the cell phone. If you don't recharge the cell phone, what happens to the cell phone? No juice. Very similarly, if you don't recharge yourself throughout the day, you'll notice how you feel in the morning when you wake up. Hopefully a little bit more refreshed after you take your shower, eat your breakfast. Maybe you work out. Then you go about your work day, and you may notice that 4, 5, 6 o'clock after the work day is over, you might find your energy waning. And that's the time to recharge yourself and to push the delete button like we do on a computer. But instead of doing that in ourselves, we can't do it like that. We close our eyes and allow the mind to take an inner dive. And one of the most beautiful things about meditation is it allows the mind and body to settle down. Here in Florida, we go to the ocean a lot. We may notice that there's a lot of waves on the surface of the ocean. And the analogy is when we take a deep dive into the ocean, the deeper you go, the more peaceful it becomes, more still it becomes. And it's like that with the human mind. And so it's a way that we can self-regulate our own unique experience. And there's an expression that if you don't meditate, you'll certainly have to medicate. And the problem with medications, as we all know, is that it has a lot of negative side effects. The beauty of meditation is it only has positive side effects. So people might have heard that, oh, gee, if I meditate, I'll lower my high blood pressure. Will it do that? Absolutely. Will it lower anxiety levels? Absolutely. So it's really for everybody. And a lot of times people wonder, gee, I don't know if I can meditate. I don't know if I can sit still. Well, if you do a little yoga, 20 to 40 million people do physical yoga throughout the week in the United States, and millions of people are doing meditation. So the best way to start is to just start. You can start with a guided meditation, or you can go to our website, artofliving.org, find out where you can learn a meditation technique. And once you learn that meditation technique, it's sort of like, when you're learning to ride a bike. If you remember when you learned to ride a bike, you had mom or dad behind you with training wheels, and then eventually they take off the training wheels, right? And when you take off the training wheels, lo and behold, you know how to ride a bike. And the beauty is, you might not ride a bike for 5 or 10 years, but then you can go back and ride a bike. So meditation is very self-sufficient, and you don't need anything, just yourself. We might be having a call coming in. Ronnie is calling in. Hi, Ronnie. How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for calling in. So I was giving the people a little kind of a background on meditation, why it's important to do. Ronnie Newman has a master's. What's your master's in, Ronnie?
Mind-body medicine.
And from what university?
Harvard.
Wonderful. And Ronnie what is your title with the International Association of Human Values and the Art of Living Foundation?
I'm the Director of Research and Health Promotion.
So, Ronnie, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the research that's behind meditation, both individually and also collectively, and that would be wonderful if you could share some of those insights with our audience tonight.
Oh, wonderful. My mother asked me to talk to her friends about what the research behind meditation shows. And when I looked at the volumes and volumes and volumes of research, I realized that in a nutshell, what we can say is that meditation makes you happier, healthier, richer, and younger, which are all really great things. And the reason I say that is because meditation, in terms of happiness, it increases that area of the brain responsible for the processing of happiness and other positive emotions. And while it increases the positive in life, that area of the brain which processes negative emotions actually starts to wither. It starts to shrink. So meditation changes the very structure of our brain. That's the first thing that it does. So we are more prone to experience happiness and positive emotions. It also makes us healthier. It boosts the immune system. It boosts heart function. It boosts brain function. It slows down the aging of the cells of our body.
Fantastic.
So that we have basically a lighter spring in our step, both because we have more energy and because things trouble us less. And when I say that it makes us richer, there was a huge study done on 600,000 Blue Cross Blue Shield insured individuals. And when they were matched for the things that we know make a difference, which are things like education, socioeconomic status, things like that, what was found, even controlling for all of that, that for all age groups, for all disease categories, everything from complications during childbirth and pregnancy to stroke to heart attack to Alzheimer's disease, that meditators experienced 66% less medical expenditures. They had less disease in all categories. It cost them less money. They got to keep more in their pockets. So it makes you richer and younger. We know that there's a difference. Science now knows that there's a difference between how old we really are, like how many candles are on our birthday cake, and how old we really are. Like all of us know somebody who is maybe 50 and they look 25, right? And then we know some people who are 25 who look 50.
So true.
Right? Yeah, and that's because the cells actually age slower in people who meditate. And what's been found is that the longer people meditate, the greater the gap between their biological age, or how much wear and tear the body has experienced, and their chronologic age, or how many candles are on the birthday cake, what your birth certificate says. So meditation makes us happier, healthier, richer, and younger. And as great as that is, really what I find the beauty of meditation, I'm right now in Denver for the America Meditates National Summit. And I had lunch today with the director of mental health for Colorado Mental Health. And while we were together, she got a call that 2 cheerleaders in a high school had committed suicide today. And meditation has been scientifically documented to change the hormones and the desperation in the body that lead to those kinds of things. So I feel like it's not only does it make life richer, but it prevents us from falling into problems. And as I shared with you, some research that I recently co-authored with researchers in the psychiatry department at Western University showed that when people who are suffering from depression and anxiety, that when we add meditation to their treatment regimen, which is drugs or psychotherapy, that their chances of remission increase by 600%.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, what typically happens when people are taking psychoactive drugs or antidepressive drugs and psychotherapy, how does it compare to that or when used in adjunct? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Sure. Basically, what I said, that when people who did not achieve remission while once they were stabilized on drugs and psychotherapy, we added a particular meditation practice taught actually by the Art of Living Foundation to their standard treatment, and that's when there was a 600% increase in their success. And there was another study done at a hospital in Milan that was published about 2 years ago, and it was picked up by papers all over the world, including Prevention Magazine, Yoga Journal, places like that. And what that study found is that people who had not been helped after half a year of drugs and psychotherapy added the breathing meditation that the foundation teaches. And what was found was a 98% remission rate for people who had not been helped in half a year with clinical anxiety, and an 85% reduction in depression in people who are not helped by standard of care. And what was so interesting in that study is that when we looked, I wasn't part of that study, but when the scientists looked, the researchers at the hospital looked at people who, at the half-year mark when they were entered into the study, that half of them, because of the side effects or because they just didn't like the taking medication, that roughly half of them on their own had stopped their medication, and there was absolutely no difference between those who continued their medication and added the breathing meditation and those who dropped their medication altogether, suggesting that the medication did nothing.
This is revolutionary. You know, we're giving a lot of statistics out, and sometimes when we tell a story that's impactful also, can you share with the audience what was one of the turning points in your life that you shared with me when you were in the Middle East, and what it meant to you and how it turned your life around?
Oh, sure, absolutely. When I was a graduate student at Harvard, I went to the Middle East to do conflict resolution research, and really, we picked a pretty good place. If you're going to do conflict resolution research, you might as well do it in the Middle East. And so I went to the Middle East, and as a 20-something-year-old woman who is very idealistic, I was completely in shock and unprepared for the unrelenting animosity and aggression that was directed at me, and I was even warned that a contract had been taken out on my life.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really the dark night of my soul. And I was so debilitated, both emotionally and physically, that when I limped back to the United States half a year later, I had to withdraw from the doctoral program at Harvard, to which I had received a full scholarship.
Wow.
It was really, and I had the best of Western medical care because I had Harvard Medical School, and they couldn't help me. And so a number of years later, a dear friend of mine suggested that I learn this breathing meditation, which I did because I knew how the breath is very powerfully capable of calming the stress response, because the stress response, which is the fight or flight response, is part of what's called our sympathetic or stress nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system is completely out of our control. It's like our heartbeat, our respiration, our saliva production, our tear production, things that we can't control generally. However, there's one function only of that stress response, the sympathetic nervous system, that can be controlled by individuals in addition to being automatic, and that's the breath. And so I knew there was some potential benefit that the breath could have in turning the stress response that was stuck on, like a switch that's stuck in the on position, was able to unstick that switch, and that's what it did for me. And it really was able to give me my life back.
What did you notice short term, and what did you notice like 6 months or a year later, if you can remember?
Well, the first thing I remember was actually feeling joy for the first time in years again.
Amazing.
That when I finished this breathing meditation, the Sudarshan Kriya breathing meditation that the foundation you volunteer for teaches, what I discovered was that I was, all of a sudden I was feeling joy and some amount of serenity again, which had been completely elusive for years. So that was the first thing. The second thing was that I had developed a skin rash that nobody could figure out what was causing it, where I would itch incessantly. I realized at one point that I could not sit for a minute, not for 60 seconds, without scratching somewhere. And my skin was literally like flaking off. It was really a nightmare. And over the course of the months and months that I practice, I now have beautiful skin again. And to this day, I am grateful every morning when I wash my face that I have skin and not scabs.
That's such a miracle. It's such a miracle. You must be very grateful for that.
I will tell you that as a scientist, what a miracle means is only that we haven't discovered the laws of nature underneath it yet.
Very well put. There's a saying,
it was a miracle.
There's a saying in the world, Ronnie, there's a saying in the world that we don't know what we don't know. And so when you self-discovered that, I would imagine that something burning inside of you wanted to share it with people around you, friends, family, the general public, academia. Is that something along those lines come true?
Oh, exactly. I mean, that's why this has been my passion for the last 25 years. To document the benefits of this and get the word out about it, which is why I was so delighted to hear about your show and that I could call in and share this with your listeners.
Well, thank you very much, Ronnie, for calling in. We have just a few minutes left, and I think there are going to be some other callers calling in. And so to all our people who are listening, let's thank Ronnie Newman for that beautiful, I think we do have another caller. So thank you, Ronnie Newman, for calling in from Colorado, and let's look forward to a wonderful event. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.
So we do have another caller coming in. Lisa Pazanza. Are you on the line, Lisa?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, welcome, Lisa. Lisa and I have been involved in a business, is the other thing I do for profit, and it says, "What's Your Biz?" And the company is called Isogenics, which means balance. And it really complements what we're doing here with meditation, yoga, and yoga breathing. And Lisa was RN who was the individual who introduced me to this wonderful program. Lisa, can you talk a little bit about yourself, how you found this, and what it's meant for you in your life?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me share this, Steve.
Sure.
So I am a registered nurse of 33 years, and I am a single mom of 3 kids. And back in, I think it was December 2006, I was burnt out, tired, stressed, overwhelmed, a lot of inflammation. And a doctor friend of mine who is a chiropractor told me about this amazing program where she said that this nutritional program would balance mind, body, and spirit. So I felt like I was at a crossroad, and I listened to what she said, and I had amazing results in a very short time with this nutrition. And I looked further into it, and I saw, like Stephen said, isogenics means balanced life. And what this is doing, it's addressing the toxicity that we get bombarded with in the world, the air, the water, the food, the chemicals, artificial sweeteners, etc. And what it's doing, it's restoring, revitalizing, and replenishing the nutrition back to the cells as it's pulling out the toxins at a cellular level. And a lot of people drop weight if they have extra pounds to lose because we store toxins in fat cells. So once you release the toxins, you release the fat in the body, and there's no rebound. And during my journey of this, I met Steve at a health and wellness show, and he got me introduced to the art of living. And I've done the happiness course and the silence course. And so, like Steve said, with the mix of the meditation, the yoga, the breath work, and this high quality nutrition, which is organic, BTU, USA Standard Organic, non-GMO, the body really gets into a really magnificent balance.
So well said. And the one thing I would add, everything tastes so great. You make these incredible,
Absolutely.
creative smoothies, or I would say these shakes. And talk just a little bit about some of those products, because we're going to have to wrap it up soon. So maybe in the next 2 minutes or so, if you can give a little bit of explanation.
Absolutely. So the protein that we use, we have non-dairy and we have whey-based protein. The whey-based protein is from New Zealand, which is a very, very high-grade protein, organic cows there, like I said, non-GMO. We have live digestive enzymes, so it gives you enzymes when you eat better. It's a full meal replacement, balanced with carbs, proteins, and fats to ideally balance the body, to put it back into a balance. We also have a Cleanse for Life drink, which is organic aloe from Australia, and a lot of other nutrition, about 240 nutrients, which is assist the body at a cellular level for intermittent fasting and detoxification. And everything we have is all keto-friendly as well. And the Cleanse for Life drink, for any of those who have a medical background, is also doing phase 1, phase 2 liver cleansing at the same time. So a result of these products really gives you a balance, more energy, clarity, focus, and less stress at the same time. And another component, we have a drink called Ionic Supreme, which is 200. Yes, I love that drink. It's called, I call it Liquid Gold. It's 242 nutrients, which really assist the body to decrease the stress, assist with inflammation, a lot of B vitamins, Ayurvedic herbs, and a lot of nutrition to really assist the body, really, to for better health and for inflammation. And we have over 100 products. And one of the nutrients we have is called Isogenesis, which you can buy separately, or you can get in a vitamin pack, which is sourced from the highest places that you can find nutrition.
Lisa, I'm going to have to cut you off. The other thing I would mention, because we have another call coming through, thank you for calling in. And to reach myself with the Isogenics, you can go to stevesperber.isogenics. That's ISAGENIX.com. And my phone number is 954-261-3375 for more questions on the nutrition or the art of living. Thank you so much, Lisa, for calling in. and look forward for you to joining us on americameditates.org. Let me give out that website once more. For the local people who want to come to Fort Lauderdale, it's going to be 8:30 to 10 o'clock Wednesday, July 24th at 3100 Southwest 9th Avenue. And it's the East Campus of Nova University. And again, my number is 954-261-3375. It's been a joy to be here today to share these life transformational programs. It's really possible to transform your life. I lost 14 pounds, 2 inches off my waist in the first 11 days of a 30-day of isogenics. And as far as the meditation and the yogic breathing, I was leaving the house in New York City at 6:30 in the morning, coming home 11:30 at night, exhausted. When I introduced the meditation in my life, I would meditate before getting on the subway and come back at 5 o'clock, go to night school, and I had energy to burn. So my suggestion to you is to check it out. This event is free. If you don't make it to the group event, you can go online at www.americameditates.org and you can join us there. Again, thank you for having me. Have a wonderful evening and drive home safely.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.